It's not Nigerian. Messi, father charged over tax evasion. And Iheanacho's days, Gala's goal lifts Eagles. And this very interesting one, Joseph, over 3,000 players turn up for Eaglet screening in Abuja. 3,000 players.
Well, it shows the ongoing vibe in the young talents we've got in this country. They really want to play for the Golden Eaglets in that way. And I think it's a welcome distraction as far as I'm concerned, not a welcome development, because if you invite in 3,000 players to an extent, I think you're making a monoic decision. Because you and I know 3,000 players, 3,000 Eaglets in camp, you would definitely be confused, because I could go down memory lane, look at the history. We know the set of players that might still make up the court in that, but inviting 3,000 players, for me, in my own opinion, I think it's just a waste of time.
Wow.
Okay. The front page of the complete sports newspaper. We'll just run through some of the stories, and then Joseph, you talk about them. It says, this one says Bayern rejects Real's 50 million euros Alaba bid. Mourinho to ask Mata blamed. Messi tax fraud trial begins as Copa America opener looms. Rashford makes England squad. Hutchinson gambles on 18-year-old striker. I want you to talk about that one, and then I will just come back, talk about this one. Okay, same thing with what you had. Pogba buys house in Barcelona to field transfer rumor. Well, let's talk about Rashford making the England squad. What do you think?
Well, for Marcus Rashford, to so many sport fans, it's a good one for Marcus Rashford, but I think it's a waste of slots. Because if you ask me, I think, look at the Three Lions, the only reason why they haven't won a silverware for more than a decade is that they keep rushing players. The likes of Wright Phillips, the likes of Oxlade-Chamberlain, Tiwako, these were talents that proved to the world that, yes, if you give them more time, they would do more. I think the Three Lions, they keep rushing these youngsters. It affects them. I said a lot about Kelechi Iheanacho when he was given a chance in the UEFA Champions League. See, this competition is bigger than Kelechi Iheanacho as far as I'm concerned. It might have impressed us in the English Premier League, but going to the UEFA Champions League, it's a different ballgame. It's a different time entirely, and which, as Austin said, it showed in down. So Marcus Rashford to the Euros, I think for me is a waste of slot, because look at the Euros, the big boys will definitely converge together and want to make an impact. Marcus Rashford is still very young. I think it's a waste of slot as far as I'm concerned. I thought the likes of Mark Noble of West Ham United should have made the call. Danny Drinkwater of talking about Leicester City should have been in the squad. At this point, I think I have this prodigious respect for Roy Hodgson, because before he announced his 26-man list, he said he would bring in players that are informed players who play regularly. If that's what you're looking for, then what is the Jack Wilshere doing on the list? So for me, I think it's a waste of slots.
Yeah, there are more controversial issues in that particular list than Marcus and Rashford making it. I mean, the guy has been in incredible form ever since, you know, he burst onto the scene. And you remember Ronaldo, I mean, in 1994, he didn't kick a ball. He went to US in 94, Ronaldo de Lima, and we know why it turned out to be a
that might be Ronaldo de Lima, but you and I know the English players are prone to injury. At this point, okay, if we get to the stage where you have to bring in these youngsters, what impact did the Rashford make for England at the Euros? None.
Scored on his debut.
Well, he scored on his debut, but this is a different competition entirely.
I think Rashford making it is cool. I think what I wasn't happy with was having a wheelchair. Who could? How many games did they play the season? I mean, wheelchair there, and Drinkwater, being asked to go out and everything. That's where I'm actually looking at.
I expected Danny Drinkwater too.
It's about understanding what's been with the team.
When you're having too many young players in the team, it's Euros for crying out loud. I think England's team is actually pretty too young for me. I mean,
they're pretty too young, and I don't see them going past the quarters.
Okay. Well, let's talk about the team that everyone is expecting to do well at the Euros, and that's Belgium. This one says Hazard headlines Belgium squad: Courtois, De Bruyne, Lukaku, Vermaelen, Benteke, Origi. Also in squad. But this one says Sacco out. Liverpool defender missing from France squad for tournaments.
Well, Sacco out of the French team, I don't think they would, because they've got good players across Europe that can definitely fill in the void in that one. So for me, Sacco out, well, it might affect them to an extent, but I think they've got a good replacement.
Okay, so that's it. We'll get ready for the Euros. You should also talk to us as regards that. Well, what do you think? Come on, Joseph says the Three Lions will not go beyond the quarterfinals. Ty, what do you say? Three Lions, semis?
Yeah, well.
Well, I think the quarters, because look at the caliber, look at the teams right now at the Euros.
Italy smiling this morning.
Yeah, I mean,
You're upset with the squad, right?
Yeah. No, I am because, I mean, I support Arsenal, but I never expected Jack Wilshere to make it. I mean, it says a lot about Roy Hodgson. Danny Drinkwater, for me, I tipped in going into 100,000. Well, I'm not surprised it was dropped because of, I mean, look at his performance for Newcastle United, most especially the first half of the season. It was a disaster.
It was the end of the season.
It was the end of the season. It did impress. So I expected Danny Drinkwater to be on the list.
You're talking about Drinkwater, what he did with Leicester. Yes. Talk about what's been tested with the team. Yeah. Jack Wilshere can be your joker in midfield anytime, any day, and can just turn up.
Well, I understand what the angle you're trying to drive from, but I look at it and say Olivier Giroud for the national team, it does well. I mean, 5 goals in 6 matches, well, impressive, you want to say, but for club side, I mean, it hasn't lived up to expectation as far as I'm concerned at this point. But Jack Wilshere for the national team in the last 5 games has been flat. So you ask yourself, what is the essence?
Yeah, that's a very controversial selection.
I know, sadly, work with the technical team.
I think sometimes I feel maybe England, whenever they are selecting their players, they look at the club you're playing in. I don't know.
I feel maybe if it's about the club, then I don't think Hilton should make it. Talking about goalkeeper Bondi, I don't think he should. They should.
How many options do they have?
Well, they have. I think Johar did make the list, and some other goalkeeper. Maybe Foster should have.
Yeah, Ben Foster.
Yeah, Ben Foster should have.
Maybe he should have made the list.
But at the end of the day, these coaches have their reasons for choosing certain players, and you come back and wonder to yourself, oh, well, what is wrong with him? Well, he knows why he's done it. He's getting paid all that money to make those kind of decisions.
Just like when we had CSC actually dropping a player like you know what I mean. They want to actually captain them now. When you're playing a crucial game in the midfield and all that, you just dropped him and everything.
Remember when we took Flavor to the World Cup?
It's not for a break. We're definitely going to be talking about the NBA, of course. Head-to-head record between LeBron James and, of course, Steph Curry, who is definitely going to lead its team to the finals of the NBA.
Welcome back to Sports This Morning, reaching you live from Channels TV Sports Center in Lagos, Nigeria. These guys are still laughing. None of them can become coaches. These coaches will do what they want, and that's it. Oludolapo Adewale on Twitter, thank you for talking to us. We appreciate that. He said Jack Wilshere was influential for England in the Euro qualifiers. He said, great job you guys are doing. And you see, that's it. So they're saying to him, thank you, well done. What you did in the qualifiers.
Well, he might have done well at the qualifiers, but let's not forget it was sidelined for large parts of the season. I mean, it's a lot to drop Jack Wilshere as far as I'm concerned. You should bring in players when top form players who are doing well for the clubs, they can as well transform that to the national team. And I think Danny Drinkwater, anytime, any day, actually play for Leicester City, I think he would fit in perfectly.
For England as well.
And for England,
players that are not prone to injury, because Wilshere, for me, 2 or 3 tackles, even during training, might even...
And we're talking a tournament here where the games are going to come, thick and fast, and, very intense.
I think they failed to learn, because look at the World Cup in 2014. I expected England to go for, but the likes of Steven Gerrard and I'm talking about Frank Lampard, for me, they were aging. These were aging players you took to the World Cup. At that point, I expected a Jack Wilshere who was informed to have made it, but I mean, it didn't. So you look at it and say, maybe the three Lions still have a lot to do. 2 years
after he has been expired. I'll just take 2 more messages on Twitter. I'll go on to the NBA playoffs. Igwe, he says it's at iGeneral for Live on Twitter, says, conceding against Luxembourg was what would have happened if we played Spain or Germany. We should play bigger opponents. Cecilia said so too, but it's okay. And then he made a very good comment on the amateur versus the professional talk. He says, I bet you there would be an embarrassment in the Olympics if you pair an amateur with a pro. An amateur will be rushed to the hospital. But it could be wrong also, because we're talking about a rush here and a street kind of thing. The amateur just looks at the guy and says, okay, this guy wants to embarrass me. I'll just use my street credibility and just take him out. So anything can happen.
But I think it will be a mismatch.
There are rules in it, Austin. Remember that. So you definitely can't bring in some games into yours. You'll be disqualified.
Oh, my God.
Quickly to the NBA now.
We round up the show with the NBA Finals. And Joseph, I don't know if you've been following. It's Golden State Warriors versus Cleveland Cavaliers. And from all indications, it's going to be LeBron James on one side and Steph Curry on the other side. Absolutely two great players, and they will be going head-to-head. And we've come up with some, very interesting starting for them. This is in regular season between the two guys. You can see when it comes to the points per game, Steph Curry has the edge there, top scorer, 30 points won for this season. But in terms of the assists, they're very close.
That's a daddy. But that shows that one is a daddy.
So, but rebounds as well, and the steals per game, it's Steph Curry with the edge in that one. That's in the regular season. But if you want to go to the post-season, that is the playoffs, you can see the points has dropped a bit because it's a lot more competitive in the playoffs. And Steph Curry has gone from 30 points to averaging 26, basically. And you can see for LeBron there as well, too. LeBron has the edge in all the other ones, assists and rebounds and the steals. So, Joseph, these two guys, surely, we know it's a team sport, and they will need the role players to actually stand up, to be counted as well. But how do these two guys really think is more primed to lead this team to the title?
Well, I expect fireworks in the final. I expect to see a beautiful game. Look at Javon talking about LeBron's Cleveland Cavaliers. It was a one-sided event as far as I'm concerned compared to Steph Curry, I beg your pardon, who had to fight. They had to fight from 3-1 down, make it 3-3. Going into Game 7, we all thought, okay, maybe the Oklahoma City Thunders were going to pull out the surprise. But at the end of the day, it was the Golden State Warriors and Steph Curry putting up a brilliant performance. But I think come final day, I think LeBron Cleveland Cavaliers will definitely seize the day.
Oh, really?
What a way to end the show. What a way to end.
Left field. Yeah. Totally.
That's a left hook right there. Okay, but it's possible because anything can happen. And if you look at this stage, what LeBron is trying to do, particularly in terms of pushing the other players from the Cavs, forming the big daddy, giving assists, you never know.
You never know.
Character. Might just do it.
We all questioned that move from Miami Heat to the Cleveland Cavaliers. Right now, it's paying off.
That's right.
It's actually paying off.
Back-to-back finals.
Finals
Wow.
for him.
Incredible
When was the last time we played a defense?
Game 1, Friday.
We'll
see how it pans out.
We'll talk about it.
We'll come back and talk about it on Monday.
Definitely. Well, thank you so much for being part of the program. Thank you, Joseph.
Thanks for having me, guys.
I'm Cecilia Mogbe. Bye for now.
Many thanks for watching and enjoy the rest of your day. I'm Tahir Salam.
Okay, remember you can keep talking to us on Twitter. It's channels_sports. And on Facebook, we're channels-sports. I'm Austin Okunakman. We'll be back again tonight to talk some more sports. But until then, in everything you do, remember, let's keep talking sports. Bye for now.